About 3 years ago, I was lucky to find a book series that I never got to finish when I was a kid. This is the Darksmith Legacy, a 10-part book series from the mind of Justin Richards releasing between January and September 2009. For years I was only able to read the first book. That was until 2022 when I discovered the whole collection at a charity shop. Ever since then I devised this video to talk about it, except it kept getting delayed until today. So finally, let's delve into the Darksmith Legacy. We start off with the first book of the series, which is The Dust of Ages, written by series creator Justin Richards. This one has the 10th Doctor arrive on the new moon base in 2010 as he finds a team doing a recent survey, where they have found something special on the moon. Is it a blessing or is it a curse? This story ended up being a great start to the overall series, just a simple plot about a team on the moon base discovering something new. I think it also works as a great base on Jesse's tale, with this team and the Doctor having to outrun this deadly dust from killing everyone. Next we have the second book in our series with The Graves of Mordane, written by EastEnders script editor Colin Brake. This one has the Doctor now on the quest to discover the Eternity Crystals from the Darksmith Collective as he lands on Mordane, the peaceful cemetery planet. Except it's only peaceful during the day, because at night it turns into something more sinister. This book was a good continuation from the last one. It does contain zombies, however these ones never really feel like they were stealing a lot of old and tired zombie tropes. Ironically, they feel fresh. This one has a lot of good world building, especially from the world of Mordane. We get a good set of characters, with one particular, Caroline, or Cass as she likes to be called, making a really good foil for the Doctor in this story. We now have the third book in the series, which is The Colour of Darkness, written by children's author Richard Dungworth. We have the Doctor landed on the planet Corregula, the main planet for the Darksmith Legacy. Noticing a village without any children, he decides to solve the mystery before heading to the Dark Cathedral. Unlike the previous two books, this one just isn't good. I will say that it has a good full-blown atmosphere to it, with really good world building, but the second half of the book is where it really slows down to a crawl, and it really needed a bit more energy to it. I think since this was a trip to the villain's homeworld, it might have been better if series creator Justin Richards had written this one instead. We now have the fourth book in the series, The Depths of Darkness, the second book written by Justin Richards. The Doctor now arrives on an underwater base on the planet Flydome Maxima, otherwise known as Despair. The glaciers on the planet seem to be melting at a faster rate than normal, but has the Doctor doomed the team involved? Sadly, the quality of the series continues its dip from the previous book, as this one I think feels very average. Really, if you had to describe this book in one sentence, it's New Who's version of The Power Crawl, but less interesting as a story and more interesting as a piece of the current Darksmith story arc. However, I will say we get a good introduction to our new companion for the rest of the series, Gisela, the person in charge of the base, who makes the book a little bit more interesting for the banter between herself and the Doctor. We now reach the halfway point of the series, The Vampires of Paris, written by prolific Doctor Who fiction writer Stephen Cole. The Doctor and Gisela head to 1895 where they have to find Varlos, a former brother to the Collective, who might be able to be the helping hand in discovering the inner mysteries of the Eternity Crystal. The quality gets back up here as we have a brilliant mystery story that reminds me of The Screams of Death, which is a later 11th Doctor comic story also set in Paris. The story arc of the series feels much better implemented here, with a lot being discovered, and it never feels like it dampens the story. Honestly, this story could really work as a pseudo-historical. We now have the sixth book in the series, The Game of Death, written by prolific Doctor Who Adventures writer Trevor Baxendale. The Doctor and Gisela end up stuck in a game of mystery and death in the Silver Devastation, with a lot of things closing in on them. This may be a game of death that they may have to win, or perhaps lose. Now they have the other Doctor Who version of Clue, with a good cast of characters playing the game of the Doctor and Gisela. It's got a good mystery to it, which I think ended up being a good read overall, and it's not that really connected much to the overall story arc, which means it works if you've never really read the previous 5 before this one. Next up we have Lucky Number 7 in Release Order, which is the third book written by a series creator Justin Richards. The Doctor and Gisela arrive on the planet Oblivion, once the most beautiful planet in the solar system, now scorched and charred. This is where the Darksmiths meet their clients, and now we have probably the most average book in the series. There's sadly nothing to it, which is disappointing because it's one of the books which I think is more central to the story arc, and yet it doesn't really have much to do with it. And also for some odd reason, I own 2 copies of this book. How strange. We now have Book 8 written by Jacqueline Rayner. The Doctor is put on trial over the Shadow Proclamation, but as the trial continues, betrayal and other elements are put into play, as tensions grow even further for him and Gisela. The book is very split down the middle with me. I'd say one half is good, with all the cool stuff on the Shadow Proclamation, especially with the character of the Adjudicator becomes really menacing. It really does feel like the Doctor can actually be sentenced on trial here. The rest of the story of the picture element in the parodying EastEnders comes off as a little bit too childish for my liking. I would have rather had it where the picture element would have been more dangerous. Instead of it being a photographer on the set, it could have been more of a tour guide, and I really feel like they should have gone with that idea instead. We now have the penultimate story of this series, written by prop master and scribe Mike Tucker. Time seems to be running out for the Doctor as the Eternity Crystal is now in the Darksmith's hands. With them now arriving on Earth to collect the crystal, will the Doctor be able to intercept the transaction, or will the crystal start a war that will go on for all eternity? This one's much better than the last one, it has some really good character work. I think Mike has definitely done a good job on that front. It really feels like a proper continuation, it doesn't feel like it's bounced around all over the place like some of the other stories has. By the end of this story, it really feels like you have to read the next one to find out anymore. And finally we have the last book in the series, the 4th and final book written by Justin Richards, and weirdly the first instance of the end of time being used as a David Tennant story. Weird that. The Darksmiths finally have the capacity to destroy the Eternity Crystal. It's up for the Doctor to destroy the crystal to enslave Gisela from the Crash Shocks. Will they survive, or this will be the final end for everyone? Unfortunately, this has the same problem as Pictures, as where half the book is really good with everything that evolves around the story arc, as it's really well implemented in the story, but the rest of the story feels like a mid-season adventure which that feels like it's in the wrong place in the series. Like it would have fit more as book 7, and not really book 10. In conclusion, I feel overall that the series could have been really good. I think that there could have been something that would have been more entertaining from start to finish, but I think quality-wise, it's very much all over the place. Half the books are good. Honestly, I would recommend the 1st, 2nd, 5th, and 6th and 9th books, as I really think those are definitely ones where the writers had a lot more fun than the time-hopping premise. The rest of them, whilst I can only say I really didn't like one of them, they just needed a bit more work, and a bit more focus story-wise to get them up to par with the other ones. If anything, this series can show that New Who, at the time, could have and maybe would have gotten away with doing the Key to Time saga, before there was a sequel. And then Flux. And then Series 15 kind of stole things away from it, but oh well. At least we had this series all the way back in 2009. I just want to say thanks to the team for letting me finally pursue this book series. As I said in the beginning, it's been 3 years since I bought these books, and I really wanted to talk about them, but I really never found the time, until now. And of course, I'll be seeing you, my friends.